Hi everybody, this is Mike Lynch from Channel 5. I'm here at Fenway Park, and I always run into Carl Pratt when I'm down here, or at the Garden, or at Gillette, or at some high school game, and I just want to send out my best wishes to Carl. 25 years as host of the Video Sports Page and counting. Here's to 25 more, Carl. Congratulations. Keep it going.
Hi there, everybody, and welcome once again to the Video Sports Page. I'm your host and producer, Carl Pratt. Welcome to edition number 1206. Now, during this week's edition of our program, we have some highlights of Plymouth North baseball against Plymouth South, Silver Lake baseball highlights as they went up against Pembroke. We'll show you some lacrosse from Duxbury, where the boys team shut out Hanover this week 10-0. We'll spend some time with head coach Chris Sweet of Duxbury. We'll spend some time with Eagles head coach Dwayne Follett. We'll have a Meet the Athlete segment from the Plymouth North program as we talk to Brian Christian. We have some baseball highlights as Lions took on Cold Spring at the Walter B. Haskell Little League field earlier this week. But let's begin our show by congratulating head coach Chuck Green of the Carver Crusaders. Earlier this week, his softball team knocked off Norwell by a score of 7-6. No surprise there. They've had a lot of wins over the years. But for Chuck Green, career coaching victory number 400. He's the one and only coach in the history of Carver softball, and he's been there since they opened the doors in 1989, his first season. And you know what? In 25 years, 400 victories, certainly a tremendous mark. He already has over 200 as a basketball coach. So congratulations to head coach Chuck Green of the Carver Crusaders. Well, let's talk a little bit, if we can, about that youth baseball game I mentioned right at the top. Cabby Brini is the head coach of the Lions team, and his team put on quite a performance. It was a great Little League game between Lions and Cold Spring. We say Little League because that's the age, but they go as Cal Ripken. Aiden Calambro had a home run for his team. Cam Shaughnessy had a home run and a two-run double. He's an 11-year-old. Jake Slauson was the starting pitcher, and he was strong through the first 3 innings as his team jumped on top by a count of 7-1. But let's give some credit to Cold Spring, who would not die and would not go away. In fact, they had the tying run on second, I should say on third, and the winning run on second base in the 6th inning, but unfortunately they couldn't get it done. But they did get some strong performances, especially on defense from Tristan O'Hanley. Crispy Mitchell was strong at first base for Cold Spring. Joe Espinoza, Danny Reardon hit the ball very, very well, and Logan Shosted had some key hits for Cold Spring. Let's take this opportunity, if we can, to show you some of the highlights.
Watching it!
Nice job, Jason. All the people you used to film when I played, or you're now filming their children?
Funny kids.
Come on, be here! Score! Come on, score! Come on, King! Take it out!
Great throw, Jono.
Good. Out front. All right, let's go to the D.
All right, let's congratulate the Plymouth North boys tennis team, which had only one loss in the regular season in the Atlantic Coast League competition. It came earlier this year against Nauset. Well, the Eagles got some revenge this week. After losing 3-2 to Nauset, they came up with an impressive 4-1 victory this week for another Atlantic Coast League championship. So congratulations to that Plymouth North program, who has some very strong tennis players. We featured them last week on our show. Well, you talk about championships. There's been a ton of them over in Duxbury as far as boys lacrosse is concerned. Earlier this week, Duxbury shut out Hanover by a count of 10-0. Let's take this opportunity, if we can, to show you some quick highlights, and then I'll visit with head coach Chris Sweet. Well, another impressive victory here on a Tuesday afternoon at home for the Green Dragons boys varsity lacrosse program under the direction of veteran coach Chris Sweet. You shut out Hanover, a convincing victory. You got to be pleased.
Yeah, we're real pleased. We felt earlier in the week we had a letdown against Lincoln Sudbury, a big rival, and we looked at the tape and we felt our defense had gotten into some bad habits. We worked on it all week, and we came out and got a shutout. So,
even though you say you may not have had your best effort against Lincoln Sudbury, as is the case year after year, Duxbury has a big bullseye on the back of your jersey because you have so much success.
Yeah, we sure do. So we expect to get everybody's A game, and but that helps us. You know, that's what we expect, and you know, it helps us get better.
Let's talk, if we can. Admittedly, I don't know the personnel as well as you do. Today you got a terrific effort from number 22 with 3 goals.
22, Shane Sullivan, is a sophomore, and he's a super dynamic midfielder who you know, has got a great split dodge and a hard shot, and I think he put 3 goals in today, and he played a great game.
Let's talk, if we can, about this year's edition of your program. Are you happy where you are at this point? Have the kids peaked? What are your overall thoughts with just 3 remaining on the regular schedule?
Yeah, I think so. We started out strong, and you know, we expected to do good things this season, and so far we're on track. Our team theme is to get better every day in practice, work hard, and master the little things. And but you know, at Duxbury, we expect to get in the playoffs and make a deep run.
And obviously, you're in a very uncustomary position coming back into the tournament this year after 1-0 a year ago, which was so rare. How interesting was that in the off season for you to sit there and say, even though anything can happen, it is so rare for you, and the first time ever, I would think, in your coaching history?
Yeah, so we had made the state final 11 years in a row, and sooner or later that's got to come to an end. It came to a real abrupt end against BC High, a good BC High squad, and it just served as a real motivating factor for you know, the returning players. It stayed with them all year, and you know, it was a real motivating tool for them.
Talk, if you can, about some of the leaders of this team, starting with your captains. Year after year, every coach has to face graduation from the year before and certain holes to be filled, but it seems like you're able to come up with the kids. I mean, you don't rebuild, you just reload.
Well, our 3 captains have been standouts this year. It starts with Nick Morocco in the goal. When we have had some letdowns on defense, Nick's there to make huge stops at key moments in the games. He's having a terrific year. Brendan Burke, number 4, our attackman, is our leading scorer, and he's great offensively. He's great on the ride, creates a lot of turnovers, and then probably our most dynamic player is number 14, Trevor O'Brien, a senior midfielder, and he's just had a terrific year at both ends of the field.
Well, an impressive victory here today by the Green Dragons, shutting out visiting Hanover. The Indians didn't cause too much of a problem for Duxbury as the Green Dragons were all over them at both ends of the field. Now on a Thursday, Duxbury has another stern tester. They go up against St. John's. Then you have Medfield. Then you have a club from New Hampshire to wrap up the regular season.
Yeah, our hope is there are three good teams we're going to play. We hope to play well, finish the season strong, and take a good finish into the real season, the playoffs.
Well, here's your situation. Winning by Duxbury, state championships by Duxbury, and Chris Sweet. All commonplace with the Duxbury boys varsity lacrosse program. We appreciate your time. We'll let you run, but congratulations on yet another victory.
Thanks, Carl.
Not like he hasn't heard that before. We'll continue with more of this week's edition of our program, so stay with us. Well, there was a big baseball game that took place earlier this week down at Plymouth South, and it went a long way in deciding who will win the Atlantic Coast League Championship. As the Eagles visited the Plymouth South Panthers, both teams very, very close as far as the league standings were concerned. Well, Plymouth North broke a scoreless tie in the top of the seventh inning, eventually went on to a 4-0 victory. Let's look at some of the highlights, then I'll visit with head coach Dwayne Follett.
Come on, Kenny! Hey, let's go, Mark! Come on, Mark! Let's go, Kenny! Come on! Come on! Come on, Kenny!
Okay, we just showed you some highlights as the Plymouth North Eagles won round one against the Plymouth South Panthers. The Eagles getting a lot of runs in the top of the seventh inning here at South to pick up their 9th victory of the season. And Coach, let's talk about a big win.
Yeah, a really big win. South's tough this year. They believe in themselves, and they've had a lot of big comeback wins this year, and they were tied with us for first place. So it was a huge game. It's probably our biggest North-South game in, I want to say, about 10 years.
What about the idea? A strong pitching effort from Brian Christian. On the other side, Mark Minio. They took it right to the 7th inning before something broke.
Yeah, I was telling Johnny Peeler that was a great effort by Minio. He's such a great athlete, and he just battled us all the way, and he got his breaking ball over. We were chasing bad breaking balls all day, and he just battled. But, I think the difference is we had a pitcher on the mound, and they had an athlete on the mound that just competed. And Brian's been 3-1 hitters in a row. He's just been dominant. He's given us everything we wanted on the mound this year.
No question, he had a little extra bounce in his step today. I think the numbers they told me, 17 strikeouts today. So he was on his game, by far his best effort of the season.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think his last three are they're all the same. The difference between Brian right now and in the past is his curveball is much better, and he's throwing it for more strikes. And he's always had a dominating fastball, but now he's getting the breaking ball over, so that even makes his fastball even better.
Let's talk about it. Your record 9-6, not the record you would hope for after 15 games, but this team continues to get better and better as the season moves along.
Well, it's actually 9-5, so it better be 10-5 after next game. But thanks for the extra loss, but we're doing all right. Listen, we've lost, this is a team, and I talk to everybody about it. You know I believe in my kids, so we're 9-5. This is a team that's good enough to be 13-1 or something like that. But hey, we gave away games early in the year, defensively, bad execution at the plate. Some really horrendous defensive efforts early in the year. But the games that matter are now and going into the tournament. And I just, I believe in these kids. We got a great group of kids.
Obviously a huge win for the Eagles here against South. Let's back up the clock to last Friday. You got a great pitching performance from Kenny Drew against Sandwich.
That was awesome. And I even said after the game, Kenny pitches like that, we have a very good shot of, doing what we want to do, win a state title. Because, you come with Brian, Joey, Kenny, and then you're coming in with Kyle Mann and Busquets. I really believe we have the deepest pitching around.
All right, let's talk quickly, if we can, about the offense. Okay, you got Colin Nicholas, only a sophomore, hitting close to 500.
Yeah, he was 500 coming in today, actually. And Colby Randall, basically a full-time first-year starter at second base, has been over 500 all year. Now Joey Walsh is on fire. He's probably at or above 500 right now. When Brian doesn't chase bad curves in the dirt, he can hit too. So, we're coming. We're getting better all the time. I thought Zanaboni had some big at-bats today. They made that play early and he smoked a line drive off the second baseman's chest. But, if Zanaboni starts hitting, Cam Drew's doing things. And Kenny Drew got a big RBI double today. So if we start hitting through the lineup, we're going to be a tough team.
All right, the Plymouth North Eagles over South here on a Monday afternoon. On Wednesday, you go down the Cape against Falmouth, and then you have always tough Duxbury on Friday.
We don't care about Duxbury. All we're thinking about is Falmouth. We're one game at a time now.
I appreciate your time. Keep it rolling.
Kyle, congratulations on the 25th. That was an awesome thing.
Well, we certainly appreciate the kind words and your participation for our 25th year celebration. But today the focus is on the 2014 edition of the Eagles. We'll continue with more, so stay with us. As we continue along with our program, let's have our Meet the Athlete segment. I spent some time following that Eagles victory with strong right-hander Brian Christian, who had 17 strikeouts in that win against South. Okay, let's continue with this week's edition of the Video Sports Page. It's another one of those Meet the Athlete segments. And this week on the program, I'm pleased to be joined by senior right-hander Brian Christian of the Plymouth North Eagles. Brian, we're talking to you fresh off an impressive victory against South. A little bit of a rivalry here. You had a little extra bounce in your step.
Yeah, playing South has always been real competitive for me. It's been a lot of fun over the last few years, especially being a South kid growing up through Little League and all that. I know all those kids very, very well. But yeah, these games are always a lot of fun for me.
Let's talk, if we can. This game on Monday went down to the 7th inning before either team scored, and obviously it was the Eagles. How about you and your focus today, a 17 strikeout performance?
Oh, it was a team effort today, definitely. Without the defense making some key plays, and my catcher doing very well behind the plate, blocking some balls where they could have advanced, stuff like that. Yeah, but I felt very good on the mound. I had working on my curveball a lot lately, and it's actually working out very well. My fastball, I'm hitting my spots, and I feel really good.
All right, the Plymouth North Eagles, big right-hander here, 3 straight one-hitters. I mean, I know it's not incredible, it's not fabulous, but it's certainly something that gives you a lot of confidence. Anytime something like that happens, you got to get the plays behind you.
Absolutely, yeah. The team has been really supportive of my pitching. They've always been there for me. We got one of the best defenses in the state. They can play really well. It's a real confidence booster, going out there knowing that if they hit the ball well, they're going to be out anyways.
Let's talk about it. You've obviously committed, so that's behind you. You'll be going off to Northeastern to be a pitcher unless you get drafted in June, and that could change the whole spectrum on life for you as a baseball player. But let's talk about the Northeastern commitment and how important that is for you to get that behind you and not worry about scouts in the stands and different people contacting you and worrying about who wants you and who doesn't.
Yeah, last summer I did a lot of travel. I wanted to get that out of the way as soon as possible. That way I could focus on this year. As a team, Plymouth North, I've always looked up to this program, and I want to do really, really, really big things this year. So that commitment early was a big weight off the shoulders, and I couldn't be happy about it.
Let's talk, if we can, how fast this senior year has flown by, not just as a baseball player, but as a senior student athlete.
Yeah. What are we? 13 games deep now, something like that. 9 and 5. Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking more of a student though. The whole year, going back from September to now, how as a senior things must just be flying by.
It's crazy. We're talking about graduation now, and it's mind-boggling, really. You know, a lot of big things coming up. I can just remember going back first day of school. I remember it perfectly. It feels like yesterday. I mean, I know Northeastern's gonna be cool next year and all that, but you gotta think. You gotta stop and think every once in a while how much you're gonna miss the high school days.
Talk about the characters on this team and who makes it go for you, because it seems like a group that everybody pulls for each other.
Yeah, it starts from the top with Dwayne Follett. Coach, he's amazing. He's definitely the best around here. We all know that. It starts from him, stems down through the assistants, into the captains, and into the rest of the players. We just got a good mindset. We win, and it is. We just go out there with a winning mindset. We go out there and we play really hard. That's the mindset.
Before I let you sneak away, who's had the real influence on you? Who you going to miss next year when you're at Northeastern and maybe doing some of your homework and you got your feet kicked up, or you're just relaxing after a workout and you think about Plymouth North baseball? What's going to come back to your mind, do you think?
It's Follett. I'm going to miss him a lot. He's been a real inspirational guy in my life lately. And what I'm going to miss a lot is, seeing my dad out behind the backstop. He's not going to be there at every single game out in Northeastern. We're traveling all around the country, stuff like that. My mom and my dad, I'm going to miss that a lot. My family.
Well, good support coming here. Listen, we appreciate your time, and if somebody reads your name in the paper or they see this interview that I'm sharing the microphone with you with, what would you like people to know about Brian Christian that people don't have an opportunity to visit with you like I do?
As far as baseball?
No, just as a person. If someb... says Brian Christian ... what would you like people to finish that sentence?
Competitive. I love to play. I'm family oriented. I love my folks, and I'm gonna miss them next year. But luckily I'm close by. I'll be home a lot. But as far as baseball and stuff like that goes, I just want to win. I want to help my team as much as I can.
Well, there's a whole lot of baseball left here in 2014, so he has plenty of opportunity to help his club. But today, it was a 17 strikeout performance against Plymouth South, a shutout victory for the Eagles, who picked up their 9th victory of the season. Keep it rolling. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
While we're on the subject of baseball, let's talk about the Duxbury program, which is now 13-3 on the season. Following an 11-1 victory over Quincy, Kevin O'Rourke had 4 RBIs in that game for Duxbury. Duxbury, by the way, will host Plymouth North at 6:30 on Friday night. And Silver Lake continues to roll. A 9-0 victory this week for the Lakers over Pembroke. Anthony Vedetto struck out 10 along the way. Silver Lake is now 14-3 on the season. Let's take a quick look at the Lakers' action against Pembroke.
Who's in center? Now Owens in the field. Yeah, Owens and who's in right? Size him up now. Is that Nolan? Hey, David. It's Nolan. Where? Right field. Baseball. Get down!
Well, while the boys were 9-0 winners against Pembroke, the girls' softball team won their game against Pembroke by a count of 8-0. Silver Lake is now a perfect 16-0 overall, 12-0 in Patriot League action. Maddie Baroni tossed a one-hitter in that game. The Duxbury golf program is now a perfect 13-0, following a 3.5 to 2.5 victory over a very good Falmouth program. How about a couple of quick track highlights? Down at Plymouth South, the Panthers dominated Nauset 110-26 this week to raise their record to 6-2. Jake McKenna won 2 events, the mile and the 2 mile. The Plymouth North girls are having a fine season. They're 5-1. Allison Jacobson won the shot and the discus as the Plymouth North girls knocked off Marshfield by a score of 73-63. And the Silver Lake girls are 6-3 on the season, following a victory against Scituate. And that one, the 100 meters and the 200-meter winner, was Kayla Fahey. Well, that'll take care of this week's edition of the Video Sports Page, everybody. I've been your host, Carl Pratt. Health and wisdom from the Video Sports Page.